Did you know the Statue of Liberty was never supposed to look like this? Not green, not turquoise, not blue. When Americans first saw Lady Liberty in 1886, she looked completely different. Shiny, brown, almost glowing in the sunlight like a giant copper coin rising over New York Harbor. And what changed her forever was something invisible, something happening slowly, every second, for decades. But here's the craziest part. The very thing that changed her appearance is also the reason she still survives today. This isn't just the story of a statue, it's the story of science, history, immigration, survival, and how one monument silently transformed alongside America itself. Imagine standing in New York Harbor in the late 1800s. The air smells like salt water and coal smoke. Ships move through the harbor carrying thousands of immigrants from Europe. Families packed tightly together, children exhausted from weeks at sea, and then, out of the fog, they see her, massive, towering above the water, not green, copper brown, bright and reflective under the sun. For millions of immigrants arriving in America, this became the first symbol of hope they ever saw, and for many, it was the moment they believed their lives might finally change forever. The story actually begins in France. A French sculptor named Frédéric Auguste Bartholdi dreamed of building the largest statue the world had ever seen. He imagined a woman holding a torch high above the world, representing liberty and democracy. But creating something this enormous was nearly impossible. That's when another genius entered the project, Gustave Eiffel. Yes, the same engineer who would later build the Eiffel Tower. Eiffel designed the internal iron skeleton that allowed the statue to survive powerful winds and harsh weather. And then came the outer shell, copper, thin sheets of hammered copper, not thick slabs, not solid metal, just thin, flexible layers attached to the internal frame, which meant something important. The entire surface would constantly react with the environment around it, and nobody fully understood what that would eventually do. In 1885, the Statue of Liberty arrived in pieces, more than 350 individual parts packed into over 200 crates crossed the Atlantic Ocean by ship. Americans watched as workers slowly assembled the giant structure, piece by piece on Liberty Island. For months, the harbor became a giant construction site. Then finally, October 28, 1886, the official unveiling. Huge crowds gathered, cannons fired, celebrations erupted across New York, and standing over the harbor was a giant copper-colored woman holding a torch to the sky. At that moment, nobody imagined she would one day become green. At first, thought nothing happened. The statue remained bright copper brown, but slowly, year after year, the metal began reacting with oxygen in the air. This process is called oxidation, and oxidation changed everything. The copper surface first became darker. Brown turned deep brown. Deep brown became nearly black. People noticed the change. Some worried the statue was being damaged. But then something even stranger happened. Hints of green began appearing. Tiny pale green patches formed across the surface. Nobody expected it, and nobody could stop it, because the transformation had already begun. What most people call green paint isn't paint at all. It's chemistry. The copper reacted with oxygen, rainwater, sea air, pollution, carbon dioxide over time. These reactions created an entirely new surface layer called patina. And unlike rust on iron, patina protects copper instead of destroying it. That thin green layer acts like armor. It seals the metal beneath it from further corrosion, which means the Statue of Liberty didn't decay into green. It evolved into green, and that transformation may have saved the monument itself. At one point, people debated restoring the statue to its original copper shine. It sounds reasonable. Imagine seeing Lady Liberty glowing bright bronze again. But scientists discovered something critical. Removing the patina would expose raw copper underneath, which would restart the corrosion process all over again and potentially damage the statue permanently. So the green color stayed, not because it looked beautiful, but because it protected the monument from destruction. Ironically, the thing people thought looked old was the very thing keeping it alive. Between the late 1800s and early 1900s, More than 12 million immigrants entered America through nearby Ellis Island. For many, the Statue of Liberty became emotional. Some cried when they saw her, others prayed. Parents lifted children onto their shoulders so they could see America for the very first time. To immigrants escaping poverty, war, and oppression, Lady Liberty wasn't just metal. She represented possibility. And while America changed, the statue changed too, slowly becoming greener with every passing decade. The Statue of Liberty has survived hurricanes, lightning strikes, freezing winters, salt water, corrosion, pollution, war, terrorism, fears millions of visitors. And through all of it, that green protective layer continued shielding the copper underneath. The statue even survived one of New York Harbor's most devastating explosions. In 1916, a massive blast known as the Black Tom explosion damaged parts of the statue and shattered windows miles away. The torch itself was heavily damaged, and yet, Lady Liberty still stood. Over time, the Statue of Liberty stopped being just a monument. It became an idea, a symbol recognized across the entire world. Movies used it, posters used it, politicians referenced it, and people everywhere associated it with freedom, opportunity, democracy, hope. Even during America's darkest moments, the statue remained standing in the harbor, watching generations rise and fall, changing slowly with time, but never disappearing. And maybe this is why the story matters so much, because the statue teaches something unexpected. We usually think change means damage. We think aging means weakness. But the Statue of Liberty proves something different. Sometimes change protects us. Sometimes transformation is survival. The green color wasn't failure. It was adaptation. And without adaptation, the statue might not exist today. So next time you see the Statue of Liberty, remember, underneath that green exterior, the original copper still exists, hidden beneath decades of history, beneath storms, beneath time, beneath transformation itself. And maybe that's what makes the statue so powerful. Not because it stayed the same, but because it changed and survived. The Statue of Liberty began as a gift from France, but over time, it became something much bigger. A witness to immigration, a witness to history, a witness to America itself. And through every decade, the statue kept changing, slowly, quietly, becoming stronger because of it. Maybe that's the real lesson hidden in New York Harbor. Not everything that changes is ruined. Sometimes, change is what keeps us standing. If this story changed the way you see the Statue of Liberty, leave a like and subscribe for more untold stories hiding inside the world's most famous landmarks. Because the next story may completely change the way you see history forever.